What if someone told you that you've been chasing the wrong version of happiness your entire life? That the job, the status, the possessions, none of it truly mattered? What if the real path to a meaningful life wasn't about getting more, but about becoming more honest, more virtuous, more self-aware? Over 2,400 years ago, a man walked the streets of Athens barefoot, poor, and with nothing to his name but questions. And yet, his name has endured across millennia: Socrates. He didn't write a single book. He founded no school. But his conversations and teachings changed the world. His mission: to answer one of the most important questions of all. What does it mean to live a good life? Before we dive into Socrates' vision of ethics and the good life, a warm welcome to the unfolding journey, where we explore timeless ideas, ancient wisdom, and philosophical insights to enrich your modern life. Whether you're here to feed your curiosity, challenge your worldview, or simply think deeper, you're in the right place. Let's unfold the mind of one of the most profound thinkers of all time. Who is Socrates? To understand ethics through the eyes of Socrates, we need to know the man behind the method. Socrates was born in Athens in 470 BCE. He was no aristocrat. His father was a stonemason and his mother a midwife, two professions that, in a way, reflected what Socrates himself would become. Someone who shaped minds and helped others give birth to ideas. Rather than engage in politics or accumulate wealth, Socrates chose a different path. He roamed the city engaging people in conversation, often irritating the powerful and exposing the ignorance of those who claimed to know the truth. Socrates was famous, or infamous, for his method of questioning, now called the Socratic method. He would ask a series of probing questions that forced people to confront the contradictions in their thinking. He didn't give answers. He guided people toward discovering them on their own. He famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." For Socrates, ethics wasn't about rules. It wasn't about religion or customs. It was about self-examination, truth-seeking, and the cultivation of the soul. What is the good life? When Socrates spoke of the good life, he wasn't talking about luxury, comfort, or power. In fact, he actively rejected those values. For Socrates, the good life was a life of virtue. Virtue, arete in Greek, meant more than just doing the right thing. It meant being excellent as a human being. Just like a knife is good if it cuts well, a person is good if they live in alignment with truth, justice, and wisdom. But here's the twist. Socrates believed that no one does wrong knowingly. In his view, all wrongdoing stems from ignorance. If you knew what was truly good for you, you would pursue it. So if you lie, cheat, or harm others, it's because you don't truly understand the nature of the good life. This is where ethics becomes deeply personal. It's not about following commandments. It's about understanding yourself. Knowledge and virtue are one. Socrates' ethics revolve around one powerful idea: knowledge is virtue. This means that the more you understand what is right and just, the more you will naturally live it out. This was radical in his time, and still is today. Think about it. Modern ethics often separates knowing from doing. We say, "I know it's wrong, but I did it anyway." For Socrates, that statement would be nonsense. If you really knew it was wrong, if you had deep soul-level knowledge, you wouldn't have done it. This is why Socrates prioritized dialogue, introspection, and learning. The path to goodness wasn't about punishment or reward. It was about awakening the soul through understanding. Socratic ethics in practice. So how do you actually live a good life according to Socrates? Here are the practical steps based on his teachings. Question everything. Socrates never accepted things at face value. He constantly asked, what is justice? What is love? What is courage? Ask yourself the same. Examine your beliefs. Where did they come from? Are they true? Know thyself. This phrase was inscribed at the Temple of Apollo at Delphi and echoed throughout Socrates' teachings. Self-awareness is the foundation of ethical living. What are your motivations? Your fears? Your desires? Seek wisdom, not approval. Socrates often annoyed people in power because he challenged their assumptions. He didn't seek popularity, he sought truth. In your own life, this means having the courage to stand by your principles, even when it's inconvenient or unpopular. Care for your soul. He compared the soul to the body. Just as the body needs exercise and nutrition, the soul needs truth and virtue. Do you spend as much time nurturing your character as you do chasing success? Live with integrity. Socrates believed that it's better to suffer injustice than to commit it. Why? because harming your soul through unethical actions is far worse than any external harm. The trial and death of Socrates. No discussion of Socratic ethics is complete without the story of his death, a moment that perfectly encapsulates his philosophy. In 399 BCE, Socrates was put on trial by the city of Athens. The charges? Corrupting the youth and impiety. Basically, asking too many questions and challenging the gods of the state. He was found guilty and sentenced to death by drinking poison hemlock. But even in his final moments, Socrates remained committed to his beliefs. He could have escaped. He could have begged for mercy. But he didn't. Why? Because fleeing would have contradicted everything he stood for. It would have violated his ethical code. His death wasn't a defeat. It was the ultimate affirmation of the good life. He lived and died in truth, integrity, and virtue. Why Socratic ethics still matter? In an age of misinformation, performative morality, and external validation, Socrates offers a refreshing and uncomfortable alternative. He reminds us that the path to a good life doesn't lie in wealth or recognition. It lies in the quiet, relentless pursuit of truth, in asking better questions, in knowing ourselves deeply, in aligning our actions with our principles. His legacy teaches us that ethics isn't a checklist. It's a lifelong journey of becoming. And in that journey, the greatest danger isn't failure, it's complacency. In a world that constantly tells you to look outward, Socrates dares you to look within. To live ethically, Socrates taught us, is to live courageously, to confront uncomfortable truths, to admit our ignorance, to never stop asking, what kind of person am I becoming? The good life is not a destination, it's a discipline. One that demands honesty, humility, and a love for wisdom. So the next time you're faced with a moral dilemma, ask yourself, what would Socrates do? The answer may not be easy, but it will always lead you back to yourself, and to the kind of life that's truly worth living. If this exploration into Socratic ethics sparked something in you, there's so much more to uncover. Subscribe to The Unfolding Journey for more deep dives into timeless philosophy, life wisdom, and ideas that challenge the way we live and think. Hit the like button if you found value in this, and share it with someone who needs a nudge toward a more examined life. And remember, asking the right questions is often more powerful than having the right answers. Until next time, keep unfolding.